Hello, and Richard Williams here from Continental. Delighted to have you tuning in today and clicking the link from one of my many updates. A few tips for you today that I hope will make it much easier when positioning universal life, and we'll talk about reframing and then a few little tips that we can get along the way. Let's start with something that will change your world. What we've got here is a thing called bit.ly.com. Bit.ly is a URL shortener. What does that mean? So when you find the page that you're looking for, excuse me, on the internet, you can copy and paste that page into Bit.ly and create a library of really, really good articles. If you're not doing it already, you should be, because you're missing out. And it also means when you want to find that article, whatever it may be, then you can easily do it. And the example I've got here is this one here, the average return for the S&P 500, which is linked to the investment component of Universal Life, or the one we're going to be talking about. And I can go straight to that page. The history of the S&P, learn all about it. Launched in 1957. What has it done on average? Look at the annual returns. But everyone will praise you for being in the know and having access to this knowledge. Okay, so tip number two. Tip number two is just a few key slides from our main presentation. And I had a few people saying to me, my clients just don't want to buy life cover. Fine, I wouldn't if it was just positioned to me as life cover, unless I was specifically looking for life cover. I think what you have to do is reframe it. You have to look at what is it actually going to do and what are the benefits coming back to me. It's not just life cover, it's doing multifunctional things. So position it as a multifunctional solution for high net worth individuals and business owners that are looking for a combination of investment and protection, or protection and investment. Ultimately, what we all want to do when we die, or when our directors die, is for things to carry on as much as normal as possible. So reframing it in that way will be really, really easy for you to do and open up the potential of clients that will go for this. If we look at the underlying component, which is why I started with the S&P 500, I'm looking at the IUL 23 plan just now. Contact me if you want more information. There's plenty of links down below in the just before my signature. You can book a consultation, or if you want a quote, then you can just contact me. We're going to talk today about the performance indexed account, and essentially what that's doing, that is tracking the performance of the index of the S&P 500. Keyword is tracking, not investing into. It's tracking on a segment basis. What does that mean? So a segment would start on the 15th of the month. Let's say the 15th of August, the segment starts. And on the 14th of August next year, that's a year. That's a segment. What has the segment done during that time? So in this case, the performance index account is simply tracking the S&P performance. But the upside, it's looking at the downside as well. But as you can see from this bit here, the downside is fully protected, meaning that, Mr. Client, you know how you like stocks and shares, but you're a bit nervous at the moment. Here, you can track a proven index. You can track the upside and enjoy the upside, or most of it, but you're not exposed to the downside. So when the markets tumble, and they will, we have some dogs and we have some good days, but their bearish markets come along and go. We know it's performed well since launch in 1957. Mr. Client, you are safe and secure. And more importantly, your protection's in place as well for your family or your business. So let's say, for example, the S&P 500 in a segment, we know what that is now, performs at 10%. The cap rate is 9.3. What does that mean? That means very simply, if the market in a segment went up by, let's say, 15%, then into the client's investment component, the insurance company would add 9.3 because it was capped at the top side of 9.3. The floor level is the underlying guarantee. So they would get 9.3. Here's why I like the performance indexed account from Manulife. I love it because they add for life guaranteed 15% bonus on top. So you're actually getting over 10%, over 10.5%. And in later years, that cap will increase to so that bonus will increase to 35%. I don't promote it on that basis. I know some do. I don't, and I never will. It's something further down the line. But here and now, 15% is added, which is fantastic. And you get a cumulative guarantee of 3% if the markets go down and you pull out. So you're getting a bit accumulating there as well. What's not to like? So here's what's happening. Left-hand side, money's going in from the client's pocket, and it's going into a big fat bucket from which you can see the drip down here going into the glass, which is paying the underlying mortality charges or the cost of insurance. That's the protection element. And here on the right, you've got the profit earnings. Now you'll be familiar with term insurance. Term insurance has no profit. You missed your premium, you're toast. You're not insured anymore. It lapses without value, by which time you may have become uninsurable, which is a big worry. Unit-linked whole of life, brilliant concept, but that's also linked to the stock markets, and if they go down, it goes down. As long as we have enough money in our bucket to sustain the underlying cost of insurance, the client is safe and protected. They have flexibility as well. So they could say, well, time's a bit tough just now, I'm going to stop paying my premium, or I need to take some money out of the bucket to pay my school fees or retirement plans further down the line. It's fine. It's working capital. It's working capital. And we just need to make sure there's enough there to pay the underlying cost of insurance. The best insurance plan is the one that pays the most when you need it the most, i.e. death, when the client has died. We don't want his widow or his business to be scrambling around looking for pennies whilst they're grieving. We want to make sure it goes quickly to where it is needed most. And as such, the master trust with all the insurance companies we work acts as a probate buster. In other words, probate is not required. It's free, it costs a penny, zilch, nada, and that simply means they would appoint their beneficiaries, primary and secondary, so that if their primaries have passed away at the same time, for example, husband and wife die at the same time, the kids get it, or the business gets it, nice and quick, ideally within 30 days of a claim. That's the rough estimate. I know people who have lost family members where they haven't had policies in trust 2-3 years ago, and they're still waiting for the insurance company to pay. So the best asset plan is the one that pays the most when you need it the most, i.e. when the breadwinner has gone. Lastly, on this segment, what information is required? Name of the client. How much cover do you want? Manulife is 2 million minimum. Sun Life is 1 million minimum. Date of birth, of course. Male or female? Girls live longer. Where do they live? Any other passports? Do they smoke, vape, patch, chew gum? Because that counts as smoking. But we have quit smoking centres, and we'll talk about that another day. Have they got any pre-existing medical conditions? Are they diabetic? Have they got asthma, for example? And last but not least, how are they going to pay for it? Single premium? Regular premium? If it's the latter, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? This is like a suit. We can make a bespoke plan for anyone. Okay, so tip number 3 of the day is unproduct related. And you may have noticed we've got a microphone fiddling away here, and it's my good old friend voice activated dictation software. I get a lot of brokers, let's call them wealth managers, saying to me, how do you get back so quickly? How do you answer queries so quickly? And I do miss some queries, but generally I try to keep my day tidy and get things out on the day I said I'll get them out. And I do this primarily using voice activated dictation software. And I know I've gone on about this in the past, but bear with me. It's absolutely fantastic. Trust me, it's so good. And I'm just going to share my screen again. And here we have. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to talk to you about one and show you another. So this one here that you can see where it says Dragon Anywhere, that is for your phone, and it works with Android and it works with your iOS, so your Apple gadgets. It works with your iPad as well as your sort of iPhone. So absolutely fantastic. You get 7 days free trial. Go to the website, sign on, get 7 days free, and then it's a tenner a month. But it means that wherever you are with a connection, you can just go and dictate it. And I promise you, it's superb. I've tried so much of this stuff. People say, oh, Siri's so good. Well, it's not. This is much better, trust me. But the main one is Nuance. So nuance.co.uk, and this is Dragon Professional version 15. Absolutely superb. It'll be cheaper now because version 16 has come out. So if you like what you see, go for that. What is this? This is the microphone that I'm using, the Fine K690. It's a USB mic. You will find it probably for about $100 or less. It's a great microphone. I've looked through all of the USB microphones. I have a bit of a thing about buying microphones. It's superb. Let's see how this works. Because you can see here on my screen, hopefully, there is a red dot. If I press on that, it turns green. When it's green, the microphone is listening to me. And I literally press Control New, and you'll see now pop-up comes somewhere. There it is, dictation box. Now, if you've got lots of things running at once, it will slow it down. But this bypasses all of that. So now I've got my Dragon box. So let's see if my dictation works. Dear Richard, common new paragraph. I was delighted to catch up with you last week, and many thanks for your help with regard to Universal Cap Life, full stop, new paragraph. Let's try and get together next week on Tuesday, how about 10 a.m. at the usual place, ? New paragraph. Many thanks for your valuable time, full stop, new paragraph, cap, kind regards, new paragraph, cap, yours sincerely, new line, cap, Richard, new line, cap, mobile, : +44, open brackets, numeral 0, close brackets, 7834601767. New paragraph, cap, how cool is that? ! See the green light? I've just turned it off. Now I press transfer and it goes into that document there. And then you can top and tail it as you see fit. But it just means you can really make an impact with your written communication, giving you more time for your meetings and seeing all these people that you're seeing. So those are my tips for the day. Have a wonderful evening, whatever you're doing, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers. Bye for now.